Hello, OWL members. I am thrilled to announce this month's Inside the OWL studio will feature ModMed, formerly Modernizing Medicine, who supports OWL as a United sponsor. ModMed is transforming healthcare by placing doctors and patients at the center of care through an intelligent, specialty-specific cloud platform. ModMed's all-in-one solution, including electronic health records and practice management systems, along with revenue cycle management services, can help increase medical practice success and improve patient outcomes. Without further delay, I would like to introduce this month's interviewee, Dr. Michael Rivers. He is Director of Ophthalmology at ModMed and was also a practicing ophthalmologist, partner, and board member at RGW in Washington, D.C. from 1991 to 2017. We are so grateful for ModMed's support and welcome to Inside the OWL studio, Dr. Rivers.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. I'm excited to be here today.
Awesome. As you know, the OWL organization, we continually strive to create networking and educational opportunities to support the mission of advancing diversity in leadership. I personally find it hugely beneficial to hear from other organizations about their efforts around D&I. With that being said, I'm very excited to hear from you about ModMed's initiatives in this area. So I'm going to hand it over to you.
Certainly. So as you've heard, I'm a physician. I'm a Black physician, and increasing Black interest and diversity in healthcare has been a longstanding interest of mine. More recently, I've been elected president of our internal ModMed Unity employee organization. And as such, we have internal projects that we work on. In addition, we work very closely with the administration and the executive leadership team of Modernizing Medicine on their DE&I initiatives.
That is incredible and how relevant for this specific conversation today. Could you give us a little bit more background on that role, maybe some challenges or some initiatives you're undertaking? And I think you mentioned earlier, ModMed is really on the uptick with hiring. So
yes.
Maybe you can touch on that as well.
Sure. So Modernizing Medicine is a medical software company, for those of you who don't know, and we produce software for not only ophthalmology practices, but multiple other specialties in medicine. We are growing very quickly. 4 years ago, when I joined full-time as an executive, I was about the 600th employee, and we just cracked 1,300 very recently. So we hire 10 to 12 people a week. And when you're hiring that many people, you start to wonder what the hiring protocol looks like. And we certainly are interested in having a diverse workforce, but just finding people, especially when you're hiring that quickly, sometimes can be a challenge. So our organization, ModMed Unity, helps our hiring team to find groups of people that they may not ordinarily have access to. That could be folks at historically Black colleges and universities who may have technical organizations that could dovetail very nicely with us. And we actually have quite a number of software engineers who are Black and Latinx. We feel strongly that hiring should continue to be diverse as we get bigger. We've got a goal for about 2,000 employees, so we've got room to grow. Another aspect is promotions internally. Software companies grow tremendously fast, as I'm finding, and to fill new positions, a lot of hiring is done internally. And so we have management internally who are deciding who that next leader is, who that next manager is. So there's a lot of promotion within the company, and we want those managers to also understand. So we have training programs so that the internal managers understand that diversity is a good thing, gives them stronger teams, makes a business case for making sure they understand that it's not just people that look like them who came from their school, but they're actually outside maybe their comfort zone in pulling people in, but that benefits the team, benefits the strength of the company. And that initiative comes from the top. It's another thing that ModMed Unity has been helpful with.
I love that. And I think, it is one thing to have that kind of protocol or whatever verbiage you want to put behind that when you're hiring from kind of without, from outside of the organization in. But I do love the fact that you're also thinking about that promotion within the organization, and making sure that that is perpetuated moving forward. And I think, don't you find that, the more people are looking at diversity and equity, and their organizations start to become more diverse, it's a nice cycle that makes this even easier, over time.
Yes.
And less of kind of an effort, but that discipline has to come in play, I think, initially for many organizations.
Some of the conversation is just helping people understand why diversity is important, the value proposition of having a diverse workforce. And so we have programs that help people understand that how diversity can help on a very granular level as a business. Different viewpoints, different points of view can help in creating software, in team building, in selling software, in all these features that we do. Certainly helped in my medical practice. It was a large part of the medical practice that I helped run as well. Diversity is incredibly important if you want to take care of a diverse community like you have in Washington, D.C. Yeah. So all these things are very important. There's another aspect that our group also works hard to do, and that is to foster a sense of belonging. Whether women or Black or Asian employees of this software company sometimes walk into a room. Well, it could be a virtual room now because we're back working from home again. But you walk into a room, and if you're the only one who looks that way, sometimes there, are just challenges in feeling comfortable and feeling that you can contribute to a team effort, because all these are team efforts, no matter what you look at, whether it's delivering medical care or delivering software, it's always coming down to a team effort. So we had a really interesting session with a psychologist, and it was entitled Black Faces, White Spaces. And it was attended by a very diverse group of people. And so it functioned as a stepping stone for Black employees of the company to say, hey, I can actually talk about this. And we had a really nice panel of employees who talked about what it was like either in their educational institutions or their predominantly white businesses that they'd been part of, and what it was like being a Black employee in those situations and what helped and what didn't help. But what was really fascinating and heartening to me is white employees of the company who afterwards said, I learned so much. That was so great for me to understand what this looks like to you, because I'm white and this is a white space and I'm comfortable here. This is where I'm supposed to be. And that level of appreciation, that switch that gets hit is really something that I think is really been a benefit to these kinds of programs as well.
I absolutely love that. And I hope people that are listening to this session remember that. I think, having some type of session like that would do wonders for any organization. And I love the fact that you touched on inclusion because, belonging, because you've got your diversity, your inclusion, and your belonging kind of is that last component that people sometimes forget about, because that's the safe space. That's when someone can dance like no one's looking, right?
Right.
It's not just getting invited to the dance. It's not just getting asked to dance at the dance. It's being able to be yourself and feel very safe and secure in that. So I love that. And I think we're about out of time, but wanted to ask you a few questions before we end today. What is your favorite word in ophthalmology?
Retina. I'm a retina doctor, and that's my favorite word. It's wonderful.
Awesome. What is your least favorite word?
Cornea. I don't want to hear about cornea, followed closely by dry eye, No, time out, go away. I
You're
don't
a
do that.
posterior guy.
I am a posterior guy. That was my life for a number of years. So those are easy.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, if there was a role besides being a surgeon within the ophthalmic space that you would like to undertake, what would it be?
I'm in my 60s, and I have to say I have been very, very fortunate to be in a number of different roles, whether that's helping to manage a business and learning how to manage a business because we, in most cases, don't have those backgrounds, or doing research, both basic science and clinical research, or teaching fellows, which I absolutely adore doing and which I miss tremendously in this new phase of my life. In delivering care to underserved populations. My wife and I actually at one point started a free clinic in downtown DC. So we feel pretty strongly, I feel strongly that I've really done it. And obviously now I'm living the dream because I'm an executive for a software company, which is really pretty freaking cool. So
that is really pretty cool. Yeah, that's amazing. If you could do one thing to contribute to diverse leadership in the eye health space, what would it be? And I think maybe you're doing it right now.
I think what's really not challenging is at some level understanding how to make more diverse leadership. And the answer is hire more diverse leaders. It really isn't rocket science. So many of these leadership positions are picked by people who are picking people like them, or picking people who they trained with, or picking people that their friend told them is a good person and they do that. So there is no test. There's no, measurement. It's just who you know. And if all you know are the same people, then the same people are leaders on certain projects, wherever that is, in business, in leadership, in educational systems. So just pick somebody that doesn't look like you. And frankly, I have done that. I'll give you two examples. One is, if you look at my previous medical practice, it's a very diverse practice. There are a number of women retinal specialists that are hard to find, but if you go look, you can find them. They're Black ones, they're Korean ones. There's different types of physicians because we felt that was an important strength of our company to take care of patients that look different ways. And we all know patients sometimes hit it with doctors and sometimes don't. So you want a diverse group of doctors to make a stronger business, to make more money. This isn't rocket science. Same on an educational level. If you're at an educational institution and everybody around you looks like you and they all went to the same educational institution, pick a different one.
Yep.
In this current role, same thing. We have people that are being hired who come from different backgrounds, that in a very, very stressful environment where you're growing like crazy. The ophthalmology business has been growing at 60% per year for the last 3 years. And when you're growing that fast, it's a very stressful environment, and you want people with different backgrounds because they handle stress differently and they work in teams better. If they have different things that they can contribute that someone may not know because they didn't grow up that way. So there's so much advantage to diversity. So just make it happen.
Right. I agree with you. I don't think it is rocket science. It's just doing it. Yeah. So here's the last question. This is your surprise question of the day.
Okay.
If you were a beverage, what beverage would you be and why?
So I just recently lost a dog named Guinness.
Oh.
And as my daughter said, "Dad, you named a dog after an adult beverage?" And I said, "Yes, I did." I enjoy my beer at the end of a long day. That would be my beverage, specifically a Guinness Stout. So that's easy.
Perfect. And I like that answer, and cheers. Dr. Rivers, thank you so much. This has been a delight. I appreciate your time and ModMed's support of OWL. And it goes without saying, I will be in touch, and I'm sure Gaynor will. We have our leadership summit coming up next week, but for our 2023 summit, would love for you to participate. I think
certainly be very happy to. Thanks for the time today. Appreciate it.
All right. Have a good one.